the
Clear
CCP
cooperation policy is an NAR national framework that requires market participation of inventory. So what it means is if you sign an exclusive listing agreement, you have to input it into the MLS. I think it's within 24 hours. And the only exclusion for that is private exclusives at the intra-office level. So there is another side of the debate where folks were being very loud about saying we should get rid of it altogether. And I took a very contrary position and said, listen, market participation is super important. And these are the reasons, by the way, I've told NAR and I've told media. The US way of doing business and the Canadian way of doing business, North American real estate, is by far the envy of the world. And I'll tell you why. First of all, it's a complete data set. It is accurate and it is liquid and perfect as data can come, right? Obviously there's always some breakdown, but like the fact that you can log into the MLS or a portal and it says active, you take for granted what active means. You take for granted that when you see 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, that actually means a room with a door and a closet and a windowsill that's 44 inches from the ground with a 60-foot egress that a full-grown adult can go through, right? When you see a list price, that's an advertised price that you can rely on, right? If you go to France where we operate, I was talking to a French agent when we were there over the summer that said she's got to go to 9 portals to figure out what's available, right? If we get rid of the participation rule that's required, companies, brokerages, especially ones with inventory, could actually hoard inventory only on their websites. And if ever choose to stick them in the MLS, and they would still want to be a member of the MLS and draw IDX data, but not contribute. So that's where I have a problem with it for a couple of reasons. One is, again, we take for granted what we don't understand what it's like not to have. We operate in 24 countries, so this is a very real subject to me. And I know what we pay for access to portals. It would actually make the cost of advertising home dramatically more expensive, right? The cooperative marketplace is the MLS. It's no different than any other co-op in the history of this country where like farmers got together to buy seed at a cheaper discount. By cooperating and then sharing the data, we have a very, very affordable way to market information. If we don't have that, you literally have to pay for eyeballs on Google and portals. Like somebody yesterday was commenting that, Redfin and Zillow, I'm like, we get rid of this, they turn into advertising machines. And then we have to pay them per month, per listing and eyeballs, right? That's how it's done in the rest of the world. That's why Rupert Murdoch and Andy Florence are buying up portals all over the world. They print money because they charge exorbitant fees. We have the system where everybody agrees to participate because not forget, we're competitors. We're the fiercest of fiercest competitors. And so one is you lose that complete data set, and then companies start competing for inventory and access instead of service and value, right? The reality is it doesn't matter which jersey you're wearing, the access to the data is for every market participant. And I am competing on business model and value proposition, just like I talked about, right? Whether I decide to go flat fee, menu of service, or percentage on either side. But if all of a sudden the inventory is controlled by a gatekeeper, what does that do to negotiating power to the consumer, right? What does that do to level of service? Like, and again, we don't have to go that far, and I'll leave names out for the guilty and innocent, like commercial real estate. You guys have tried to buy some commercial buildings before. Like, has the listing agent not called you back when they realized you wanted a fee, right? It's a different beast. And this is people's homes. I think the people who would get most hurt by silos of inventory are the people who need the most access to representation. It's first-time home buyers. It's low to moderate income buyers. Like, let's just take your sub-market. If people can control inventory and keep it, what stops them from only selling it to investors so that investors only see it, right? Versus first-time home buyers, people that need to get on that economic rung.
Like we're in Puerto Rico. We want to talk about Wild Wild West. Yeah. Jake can tell you a few stories about how hard it is to shop and know what's out there That's just one example, but I'm sure. I mean,
it doesn't breed quality traits out of real estate agents either.
We're so spoiled that no one knows because we're in this little box and we don't know how good we have it. But
oh yeah, no, I just sold my parents.
You can share, right?
I just sold my parents' house in Belize. It took me 4 years, 5 different agents.
Oh my gosh!
And by the way, I know how to sell houses, right? Like I'm not some random consumer trying to figure this out. I had to hope that the right keystrokes went into Google and landed on that agent's WordPress website, right? And oh, by the way, at the end of the day, I paid 10%, right? So like, again, things that should have probably been argued at the NAR settlement was, out of the G7, the US is the second cheapest country to sell homes in, right? Countries that don't have cooperative compensation and don't have MLSs are still more expensive to sell homes than it is here, right? Like this is the most visceral one for me. Like we take for granted that we have a liquid real estate market. And like people always say real estate's not liquid. The hell it isn't. In every city in America right now, you can list a home and there is a appropriate discount based on supply that if I list that house on a Friday, in each market that you own stuff in, it could be 5%, it could be 10%, it could be 20%. It depends on the amount of inventory and everything else, right? Right now, it's probably a 5% discount, right? And you'll get 20 offers, right? There is a number discount. And one of those offers will be cash close in 10 days. Am I wrong? Like if you give it the appropriate discount. Guys, like if I said that to the agent in Belize, I was like, what's it worth? He's like, $249. I was like, listed for $199. He's like, it's not going to make a difference. It's still going to take 6 months. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a motivated seller. I'm done with that property. My parents live here. I want them near the grandkids. What do you mean? They're like, it doesn't change anything. Like, hopefully someone searches it and it gets into an index and, 6 months from now, we get a couple of showings. I'm like, wow.